Hello guys, and welcome back to Author's Corner. Starting this week, we will be producing on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I do hope that you are all liking these episodes, and I will be continuing on with A Road to Nowhere. Today's chapter is on Chapter 4. Sit back and enjoy. Chapter 4. Okay, so this is what happened, Billy replied during dinner. I thought the party was over because everyone was leaving, but they didn't pack up or call their brothers and sisters. So I thought they forgot something. Turned out that they left for another party, and it got worse at that point. Billy finished off. What happened after that? You called for help? Dylan said, laughing. Billy kicked him in the leg. Ow! He cried. I've got better news. My boss gave me a $10 raise, Josh said casually, covering Billy's news. His parents congratulated him. Billy stared at him through his glasses with a stern look on his face until dinner ended. Billy and Josh took over the kitchen and started cleaning as dinner ended. Ow! What was that for, man? Billy jumped. Josh just laughed at him. Billy punched him back. Ow! Fuck, man, that hurt! Josh cried. There, at least we're even, Billy exclaimed, laughing. Ha ha, oh, you're so funny. Josh took a quick hold of him. Are you guys done yet? Dylan asked, coming to the kitchen. No, we just started, Josh announced. Well, hurry up then. He stomped out of the kitchen. When he was quickly out of earshot, they both wrestled with each other. After waiting an hour, Dylan got impatient. He walked into the kitchen to find his brothers leaving. Tell Mom and Dad we left, Josh replied, taking a piece of cake from Dylan. He cried out in alarm. Well, what if I don't? Well, then I guess we're just bigger men than you are. They both left before he could reply. Dylan just shrugged and went to go get another piece of cake and went to go watch television. There was a long moment of silence between Sean and his mother. They were both sitting in the living room with the television on. Not a word was spoken. Sean left the room and went to his bedroom. He loved his mom, yet at the same time he didn't. It didn't make sense to him that way. It was confusing. He shrugged off the feeling inside of him. He was about to leave when he saw his mom leave with somebody. He was on the verge of throwing something against the wall. He hated the things that he saw, and he hated the things that he heard. He hated what his mother told most people about him. He went back to his room, looking at pictures and thinking over things that have gone wrong in his life. When are you ever going to learn? It's only just a joke, his mom told him once. But it wasn't a joke to him. He wanted to do something that would make him regret it for doing it. He wanted his mom to regret the day that he was born and the mistakes that she made and the things that she said and did to him. Don't do this right now. I have to go to work, his mom replied one day when he was little. It's not fair, Mommy. I want to know. He kept asking her questions. She knew he wasn't going to give up. He wanted to know everything. When she knew that he wasn't going to stop, she slapped him across the face, which made her cry for a week, and she never came out of her room. Almost every day, his mom never came home. He would have to make dinner for himself. Most of the time, she was sitting in her room with a gloomy face, staring at nothing that never seemed right to her at all. He caught her once in his room, staring at the pictures when they used to be together, and when he used to have the smile on his face that she loved. He gasped, with tears streaming down his face, and his mom gazed up and saw him standing there in the doorway. Her face streaked with tears and her eyes bloodshot red, without any makeup. He noticed tears streaming down her face. That was the first time she ever smiled at him. I have to tell you something, she had told him a couple of years ago. There was one thing that his mom never told him, and she had to tell him because he was going to have to find out eventually. What is it, Mom? Is it one of those guys? Because I swear to God, I'm going to rip their heads off. No, just calm down. Just listen to me. I haven't told you this, and I know that I should have told you a long time ago when this happened. What? Tell me. She took a deep breath. You have a brother. It was all she said to make him scream. When his mom left later that evening to go to work, which he knew she obviously went somewhere else, he found papers strewn on the table that gave him every information about his brother. He couldn't believe that he had a brother. Of all those years, she didn't even bother to tell him anything about it at all. He's been angry with her for that long. It had been 4 years since that time, and he's still angry. But not as much as he was before. But he knew that he was not going to forget the things that his mom had told him. In the midst of his thoughts, he heard the phone ring. He ignored the phone. It kept on ringing until he finally answered. Hello? I hope you're having fun right now, Sean. Please tell me you are, 'cause I'm watching you. I know who you are, and I want you to show me your face. Why don't you come outside, and I can show you who I am? The voice barely came out. It was a low whisper that didn't sound like a voice at all. Who is this? David, is that you? David? My name is not David. My name is... There was a noise in the background, and he couldn't make it out. I'm coming for you, Sean, so you better watch your back. In an instant, the line became dead, and there was no one on the other line. Hello? Hello? There was no answer. The only thing that he could hear was the dial tone. He hung up the phone, wanting to get rid of it. He was glad that it got his mom off his mind, yet at the same time, he wasn't, because now the phone call was already stuck in his head. I'm watching you. The voice was stuck in his head, and he couldn't get it out. It sounded like there was a high-pitched screeching sound in his ear that wouldn't leave. He tried calling David, but the phone line was busy. After what seemed like forever, he called him again. This time, he answered at the 5th ring. Who is this? Was the first thing that he asked. It's just me. When he heard Sean's voice, he breathed in a sigh of relief. I thought you were someone else, man. You scared me. He laughed. You got the same phone call? I got a phone call. I thought maybe it was you. I thought that maybe you were trying to freak me out or something. How do you know I got a phone call? I got a phone call too. I thought it was you too. Yeah, it sounded more like someone trying to freak you out more than someone playing a prank. I know. They were both in silence after a while. So, what are you doing tonight, man? Nothing. I was going to go out. Sean walked into the kitchen, trying to find something to eat. He stressed out on the word just by saying that. David knew what he was talking about. Yeah, well, that's life, buddy. You gotta learn how to deal with it like how I dealt with mine. They were both silent, trying to figure out what to say. Kinda seems like 4 years ago when we first met. Yeah. Long silence, barely even saying a word. They both laughed, which was also followed by silence again. So, what do you plan on doing there when we get there? I'm going to sit on my ass all day, watch TV, pig out, and listen to some music. Sean grabbed something from the refrigerator, put it on the shelf. He bent down and reached in for a bottle and cracked it open with one hand and took a long gulp. That's it? You're not going to go out and have fun or anything? Nah, I'd just rather sit and pretty much do nothing. Have enough fun when she's either gone or at home. Make it useful by ignoring that she's gone or at home. That's what I call fun. Sean laughed a little. Yeah, that's how the days went with Mom. If she's home and you're gone, know that there's a chance that there's someone there. And if you come home without her not knowing and you go in her room, you'll be on the floor with blood down on your face. David agreed. There was silence once again. So, what are you going to do when we get there? Sean put a smile on his face. Unlike you, I'm going to have fun. Well, what kind of fun? He winked. You're sick. What? You're sick. How am I sick? You just are. So, what are you doing? Not much. There's not much to do. Yeah. There was another brief moment of silence between them. Just then, Sean heard someone knocking at his door. He left them knocking until they left, which was followed by laughter. He left the kitchen and moved toward the window and watched two kids staring at him and laughing at him. Who was that? David finally asked. Oh, just some kids playing around. I hate that. They come here every night to find ways to annoy me. They throw rocks at my window. They ring the doorbell when Mom's not home. They get on my nerves. David laughed at him. Yeah, you get used to it for a while. Yeah, well, hoping that I could forget all about this when I figure a way out of this hellhole that Mom calls home. Good luck with that. Hope you find a place and Mom doesn't find out. Yeah, I'll be in big trouble if Mom ever found out. She'll rip every part of me to pieces. They both laughed. So, have you ever gone hiking before? David tried changing the subject. No. It's the best. I just went a couple weeks ago. Wow. So amazing, man. You have to try it out. Yeah, maybe one day when we're all together like a happy family. Not. Sean and David laughed. Just then a knock interrupted their talk. Sean ignored it. He knew it was the kids trying to bug him again. When he heard a low gruff noise, he knew it was the cops. I know you're in there. Open the door. We're the cops. Open the door. Gotta go, man. There's someone at the door. Is it the kids again? No, it's the cops. They both had the same thing in mind. See you later, dude. They both hung up. When Sean reached the door, he found his mom stumbling and wavering back and forth. We seem to have a situation every night. I'm hoping this doesn't happen again. Oh, why don't you both come on in? I'll make you some coffee. You look like you both had a rough day. His mom interrupted them with a grin on her face. I think you had enough, don't you think? Sean glared at his mom. No, it's you who hasn't gotten enough from me. His mom winked at him. You're disgusting. Sean had a disgusting look on his face. She stood in the doorway, waving back and forth. Get in there. She wouldn't go in the house, so Sean had to push her in, and he went inside, closing the door halfway, meeting with the cops. He could hear his mom making weird noises, and he tried to ignore it. So tell me, how long has this been going on for? Sean asked them after a moment of silence. They heard her making strange noises in the house. Is she going to be okay? Oh yeah, she bounces right back up in the morning and gets drunk with her boyfriends. They both raised their eyebrows. How long has this actually happened before I was here? Sean tried to put up a little emphasis. Do you really want to know? One of them answered. Sean nodded his head. I'm kinda gonna have to find out sooner or later. Oh, to tell you the truth, this has actually been going on for over 15 years. If she doesn't smarten up, we have to take her in. Sean folded his head in his hands. He swore under his breath and didn't know what to do. Sean! He heard his mom scream from inside. I don't know what I'm going to do, honestly. I don't know what to do. Sean was on the verge of going crazy. So, where's David? One of them asked. Sean looked up with a look that made him think that he said the wrong thing. I was just wondering. Oh, no, not a big deal. I know. It's been a while, that's all. The other cop interrupted them. Sean just smiled. He's doing okay. I'm just glad that he's not here right now. Or else something crazy would have happened. They all smiled and laughed at the small joke. If anything goes wrong or something happens, just let us know. We won't allow this and we won't let this happen again." One of the cops nodded at the door with half a smile on his face. "Thanks. Oh, and one more thing. I won't be here for a couple weeks because I'm going on a trip. So, if you'll just let me know when she has to go in or anything," Sean replied after a while. "Yeah, no, don't worry about it. We'll let you know for sure." "Thank you." They both nodded and left with a smile. "What do you think he'll say when his mom has to be taken into custody tomorrow? Should we tell him?" One of them replied when they were both away from the house. "No, there's no use anyway. He's well into taking care of himself and he's just in a better environment for now. We'll have to write him a letter or something." It was silent for a while. A noise could be heard from the outside. "Why do you always have to embarrass me, huh? You could get yourself killed one day." Sean stormed back in the house and locked the door behind him. He moved to the windows and shut the blinds. He didn't want anybody to see them. The neighborhood pretty much already knew what was going on by their screams and shouts. "Come here, I want to tell you something." "No, get away from me." "Come here, Sean. Let me make you feel better," she added with a grin on her face and a wink. She grabbed his arm. Sean just shrugged her hand away. "Don't touch me. I can hardly believe you ever touched me when I was a baby anyways. I can hardly believe that you ever fucking loved me," he screamed at his mom. It was enough to bring her back to reality. "You think I never loved you? I loved you more than I loved David. How can you say I didn't love you, huh? Because of the secrets that you kept from me and the things that you said and did to me only to get me out of your way? I never thought it would ever be this way. I always told you that I loved you, but you never acknowledged it at all. I mean, what even happened to Dad, huh? Come on, tell me." Sean stomped away from her and went to his room and tried to sleep. He left her lying on the floor by the couch, moaning and groaning. Sean kept hearing noises from her. He heard her run to the bathroom and throw up. He tried plugging his ears and tried to think of something else. He wanted to get his mom off his mind for now. There was nothing that seemed right that night, and there was nothing that was ever going to make things right. Not even for Sean. Tracy sat in the den with her brother with a tired look on her face. She didn't know how long she was staring at the wall in front of her, lost in a trance, until her brother poked her in the arm. "Are you okay?" he asked. "Yeah, I'm fine," she voiced. "Are you sure?" "Yeah, I'll be fine," she muttered, trying to hide the shakiness in her voice. She left the den and went to her room. Since there wasn't that much to do, Tracy decided to call David. "Hey, what's up? Been waiting for you to call." He sounded pretty pricked up. "Why don't you come over? I need some company." She fingered her bare neck, shaking a bit. "You know I'm more than that. I'll be there in a bit." She could picture him smiling. When he said that, it brought a smile to her face, and some of the things that were on her mind had left. She found herself occupied with something that she didn't realize that he already came, and she overheard her brother talking to him. She made it useful by making noise so that she couldn't hear them talking. "Hey man, long time no see," her brother replied. "I know, hey. How long has it been?" "A couple weeks." "Yeah. So what have you been up to lately?" He smiled with a wink. "Oh, not much really. Just catching up with some work and all." "Are you sure about that?" They both laughed. "I'm sure." David shook his head and smiled. "Anyways, I gotta go. I have to go to work." "This late?" "I know. I'll see you later. Don't try to do anything that I wouldn't do." He winked. They both laughed as Tracy's brother walked out the door. As he left, David ran the rest of the way upstairs to Tracy's room. "Hey, how's it going?" he replied with a smile. "Not much." She smiled at him. "You want to tell me why you wanted me to come over?" He slipped onto her bed. "I told you I need company." She moved closer to him. Oh, please. You know I'm more than that. He kissed her. You know what we should do? He slipped closer to her and brought his hand to her face while his other hand stood between their bodies. What? We should order some pizza, make popcorn, and watch a movie and see what happens after that. How does that sound? He brushed her hair back and stared deep into her eyes. I like that. I know you do, he laughed. Come on. She had a smile on her face that made her eyes sparkle. He leaned towards her and kissed her. His lips lingered on hers for more than a while. But they didn't know what the sparkles in her eyes actually meant. If you liked today's episode, give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and please share. You can also leave a comment and let us know what you think. Stay tuned for our next live episode on Thursday afternoon. Our phone lines will be open for anyone to call in. You can head on over to our website, communications-inc.org, where you can subscribe to our mailing list and join in on the conversations. You can also join our Patreon account where you can get 10% off any purchase. Please like, share, and subscribe. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.